Imagine waking up one morning and realizing your hands won't stop shaking. Or that your body suddenly feels heavy, like it's moving through thick syrup. These aren't just signs of aging or stress. For millions around the world, they're the first whispers of a much deeper storm, Parkinson's disease. Long thought to be a brain disorder that slowly steals movement, balance, and eventually memory, this condition has haunted medicine for over a century, with treatments that only ease symptoms, never stop the disease in its tracks. But what if we've been looking in the wrong place all along? What if the real origin of Parkinson's isn't in the brain at all, but deep inside your gut? A groundbreaking discovery is turning everything we thought we knew about this disease upside down. Scientists have found strong evidence that the seeds of Parkinson's may be planted not in the mind, but in the complex ecosystem of bacteria living in your intestines. And the most surprising part? The answer might not lie in complex drugs or futuristic gene therapies, but in something as simple as a daily vitamin pill. For years, doctors have noticed a strange pattern. Long before the tremors, stiffness, and slowness set in, many people with Parkinson's report digestive issues, especially chronic constipation, sometimes decades earlier. Sleep problems, like acting out dreams or sudden jerking during rest, also show up years in advance. These clues were easy to dismiss. After all, everyone gets constipated sometimes. But now, researchers are connecting the dots in a way that's rewriting the story of the disease. The gut, it turns out, is far more than just a food processor. It's home to trillions of bacteria, a bustling microscopic city known as the gut microbiome, that plays a crucial role in digestion, immunity, and even brain health. These tiny residents communicate with the brain through a superhighway of nerves, hormones, and chemicals, most notably the vagus nerve, which runs directly from the gut to the base of the brain. This gut-brain connection isn't just theoretical, it's a real, biological pathway that scientists are only beginning to understand. Now, new research reveals that in people who develop Parkinson's, this microbial community becomes unbalanced. Certain helpful bacteria start to disappear, while others take over. But it's not just about which bacteria are present, it's about what they do. The disrupted microbiome in Parkinson's patients appears to lose its ability to produce two essential vitamins, riboflavin, also known as vitamin B2, and biotin, or vitamin B7. These aren't just minor nutrients. They're vital for energy production, nerve function, and maintaining the health of the gut lining itself. Here's where things get even more fascinating. When levels of these B vitamins drop, it sets off a chain reaction. The gut begins to produce fewer protective molecules called short-chain fatty acids and polyamines. These substances are like construction workers for your gut wall. They help build and maintain a thick, gel-like mucus layer that shields the delicate nerve endings in your intestines. Without enough of them, this protective barrier starts to thin out, becoming leaky and fragile. Think of it like a castle losing its moat and walls. Once the defenses are down, harmful substances, pollutants, pesticides, industrial chemicals, can come into direct contact with the nervous system embedded in the gut. And when that happens, the body's alarm system goes off. Cells in the gut begin producing abnormal proteins called alpha-synuclein fibrils. These misfolded proteins don't just sit still. They appear to travel up the vagus nerve, climbing from the gut toward the brain like invaders scaling a fortress wall. Once they reach a region deep in the brain called the substantia nigra, the area responsible for smooth, coordinated movement, they start to accumulate. Over time, they clump together, disrupting and ultimately destroying the brain cells that produce dopamine, the chemical messenger that helps control motion. When enough of these cells die, the classic symptoms of Parkinson's emerge: tremors, rigidity, slow movement, and eventually, cognitive decline. This theory explains why digestive problems often come first. It suggests Parkinson's might not be a brain disease that spreads to the body, but rather a gut disorder that eventually reaches the brain. And if that's true, it changes everything, especially how we might treat it. For decades, medicine has focused on replacing lost dopamine or managing symptoms with medications that often come with side effects. But what if we could intervene much earlier, before the brain is even affected? What if, by simply restoring the right balance of bacteria or supplementing the missing vitamins, we could stop the disease before it starts its march upward? That's exactly what the latest findings suggest. In a major study involving hundreds of patients across multiple countries, scientists found that those with Parkinson's consistently showed lower levels of B2 and B7, not because of their diet, but because their gut bacteria had lost the ability to make them. Even more telling, this deficiency was linked directly to the thinning of the gut lining and the rise of those dangerous protein fibrils. The exciting part? These vitamins are not experimental or hard to obtain. They're already available, safe, and inexpensive. Riboflavin and biotin are found in foods like eggs, dairy, leafy greens, and whole grains, and they're commonly included in multivitamins. But the idea here isn't just eating more broccoli. It's about targeted supplementation for those whose gut microbes can no longer do the job themselves. Imagine a future where a simple stool test could reveal whether your microbiome is failing to produce these critical nutrients. If so, a doctor might prescribe a higher dose of B vitamins, tailored to your specific needs. This wouldn't be a cure, but it could slow the disease, delay symptoms, or even prevent it in people at high risk. It's a shift from reacting to damage to preventing it before it begins. Of course, this isn't a magic bullet. Parkinson's is a complex condition, and not everyone's journey will be the same. Genetics, environmental exposures, lifestyle, and immune responses all play a role. Some people may have a genetic predisposition that makes their brain cells more vulnerable. Others may have been exposed to high levels of pesticides or industrial solvents, which could trigger the initial damage in the gut. The disease likely arises from a perfect storm of factors, but the gut may be where that storm first gathers. This new perspective also raises important questions about modern life. Our microbiomes are shaped by what we eat, how much we move, how stressed we are, and what we're exposed to in our environment. The rise of processed foods, antibiotics, and environmental toxins may be quietly weakening our gut defenses over time. Could the increasing rates of neurodegenerative diseases be linked, in part, to the way we live? It's a sobering thought, and one that underscores the importance of gut health for everyone, not just those at risk for Parkinson's. Already, there's some evidence that supports this approach. Past studies have shown that high-dose riboflavin can improve motor function in certain Parkinson's patients, especially when combined with dietary changes. While the mechanisms weren't fully understood at the time, we now see how restoring B vitamins might help repair the gut barrier, reduce inflammation, and slow the spread of harmful proteins. But science moves cautiously. Before doctors start prescribing B vitamins as a standard treatment, larger clinical trials are needed to confirm whether supplementation truly slows disease progression. Researchers will need to determine the right doses, identify who benefits most, and rule out any long-term risks. Still, the potential is enormous. Unlike many experimental therapies that cost millions and take decades to develop, this approach could be rolled out relatively quickly and affordably. It also opens the door to other strategies. If gut bacteria are the missing link, could probiotics or fecal microbiota transplants, where healthy bacteria are transferred from a donor, help restore balance? Could dietary changes, like increasing fiber or fermented foods, support the growth of vitamin-producing microbes? These are now active areas of research, and the answers could reshape how we think about brain health. What makes this discovery so powerful is its simplicity. For a disease that feels so overwhelming, the idea that something as basic as a vitamin might make a difference is both humbling and hopeful. It reminds us that the human body is not a collection of separate parts, but an interconnected system where the health of one organ can influence another in ways we're only beginning to understand. It also challenges the old way of thinking in medicine, where specialists treat the brain, the gut, or the heart in isolation. The future of healthcare may lie in seeing the body as a whole, where treating the gut could protect the brain, and where prevention starts long before symptoms appear. For the nearly 10 million people living with Parkinson's worldwide, this research offers more than just scientific insight, it offers hope. Hope that one day, a simple test and a daily supplement might change the course of their disease. Hope that future generations might avoid it altogether. And hope that even in the face of a condition once thought to be unstoppable, progress is possible, not from a miracle drug, but from listening to the quiet signals of our own bodies. The gut, once overlooked as just a digestive organ, is now emerging as a central player in one of the most challenging diseases of our time. It speaks in whispers, through bloating, constipation, or fatigue, long before the brain screams in distress. And if we learn to listen, we might just find the key to unlocking a new way forward. So the next time you eat a meal, think about what's happening inside. Trillions of tiny organisms are working hard, not just to break down your food, but to protect your mind. They're making vitamins, building barriers, and sending signals that keep your entire nervous system in balance. They're part of you, and they might just hold the secret to keeping you whole. Science is beginning to realize that the brain doesn't act alone. It's in constant conversation with the gut, and that dialogue could determine whether someone lives freely, or slowly loses control of their own body. By strengthening that connection, by nourishing the microbes that keep us healthy, we may finally have a chance to fight back, not at the end of the disease, but at its very beginning. And that changes everything. If you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss another deep dive into the hidden secrets of your body. The truth about diseases like Parkinson's is changing, and it starts not in the brain, but in the gut. Share this video with someone who needs to know there's hope, and that sometimes, the simplest solutions might be the most powerful. Thanks for watching.